a KQED television production.
Another umami bomb. Umami bomb.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by support for KQED comes from Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 6 Bay Area locations.
La Tour Angèle Artisan Oils, French-inspired and handcrafted in Northern California. La Tour Angèle creates natural, healthy cooking oils that add new flavor to everyday dishes. Sutter Health CPMC, investing in community care for more than 150 years, including 2 new smart hospitals. Your city, your hospital. CPMC2020.org.
Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Mattress systems from European Sleepworks, working to improve comfort and wellness for over 40 years. At Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley. Online at sleepworks.com.
Integrated Resources Group has a vast selection of epic porcelain slabs and Pentel quartz surfaces for today's modern designs.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabrocco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. In this episode, we're savoring traditional European cuisine and revisiting 3 places from previous seasons. But there's no need to pack your bags for France or Italy, as they're represented right here in the Bay Area. First, from Season 5, Maroon Antoine Alsaya is a concierge to the world's royalty. He appreciates the best of everything, which he finds at his romantic neighborhood spot tucked away on a tree-lined street in San Francisco. Here, the tiny kitchen produces traditional and classic French fare to warm the soul. At L'Ardoise Bistro.
So my name is Thierry Clément. I'm the chef and the owner of L'Ardoise Bistro. I was born and raised in France. My parents have a butcher shop, and that's where I started to learn to love food, where I started cooking when I was 15. L'Ardoise means the blackboard, the chalkboard, where traditionally in France and in Europe, people write the special of the day. We try to bring to the table what everybody would expect out of a French bistro, like the coq au vin, where the sauce cooks for hours before being perfect. But also we work a lot with a beautiful Californian seasonal product. So I was very lucky to find this very old place, dusty and rustic, but I was happy because I was able to do all the painting, varnishing of the wood. And it's beautiful to be here today and then to realize what I bring together. The very rewarding thing is like when people are leaving with a big smile on their face and they wave at me and say thank you, and this is what we work hard for.
All right, Maroon, now first off, I have to say that I think I have a cool job. I get to eat, drink, and travel for a living. You are a concierge to royalty. Yes. I mean, that is cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. Not a day is the same. Yeah. Some requests that come in are pretty much insane, but
your job is to say yes.
It's a very colorful job. Yes, absolutely. I enjoy it very much.
Contest at the table.
Yeah, you win the job contest. That's right. Now, how did you stumble upon L'Ardoise?
Literally by walking right across the street and looking at that cute little space before it even opened, and just wondered, that would be a perfect space for a cozy restaurant, whatever the kind is. And then sure enough, a couple of months later, L'Ardoise opened up. That space had a lot of failures before, so a couple of Mexican restaurants tried and didn't really succeed until they came in. So, oh my God. we sit down for our first meal. I will never forget this. And it was a group of about 4 people at our table. And the restaurant was busy. It was a busy night. And everybody was just so jovial and happy, from the staff to the diners to the chefs. Just like everybody was having so much fun. So much so that we ended up meeting the people at the table next to us, and we were
very close.
We were very
It's not hard
close.
to do.
It's not hard to do. But we took it one step further, and we started exchanging plates with complete strangers.
That's a little too modern for me.
You know what? I know. And then, we were having wine, so everybody was happy, and
He's
we
a
were all
food swinger.
Yeah.
Just,
we were all best friends,
These
all
kids
of a sudden.
today.
But it tells you also about the kind of restaurant it is and the atmosphere that's there. You just feel at ease, and you just want everybody to be happy, and you just love everyone all of a sudden. It's going
and what
back
you
to-
say about the space, it was such a great use of the space. It's warm, it's red, it's got the chalkboard.
So it
which-
definitely has that ambiance and that atmosphere.
Totally.
But
And
the chef came over from Fringale, Thierry Clément. So, I mean, what's the food like to you?
I don't know what the word for seesaw is in French,
Right.
but it was sort of like some was great, and there were some things in the details that didn't quite work. However, we had a group of 6, which is a big
group in that
group,
space.
and they did a good job of accommodating us in that space. And I would say on our table, I did the best, because I had the tiger prawn ravioli.
That's so
It
good.
was
That's what
really
you had.
good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
dill,
Good choice
and
to
it
start.
was so fresh.
I would
and
go
it was
back
like
next time and order a double order for my dinner.
Right, you
Is
enjoyed that
good?
so much.
It was
Oh, yeah.
spring on a
So
plate.
good.
Right.
And I had the halibut after that, and that was
did
made
too.
with,
Hello, we have the same.
So you wouldn't even have to switch plates.
No, we
That's
wouldn't.
right.
The 2 of you.
I got the halibut.
And what did you think? I thought it could have been, it had lobster sauce and it was on pureed
Yeah.
potatoes, I think. I thought it could have been really rich, but I thought it was kind
I
of light.
objected to the pea sprout that they had.
Really?
Because you know why? The pea sprout is coarse, and then it's also too chewy, because the halibut and everything else is very soft and delicate. But the halibut was cooked perfectly.
Right.
It was
and what
really
about
good.
things like the coq au vin? And they have, quite traditional dishes as well.
Absolutely, and the duck
Foie
like
gras and-
confit and the foie
Yeah.
gras, and I mean, the sole is to die for.
The
and
foie gras, I have to say, I didn't have it, somebody else did, and I was a little jealous, but it came with toasted brioche. And there's brioche and there's brioche. It was almost like pound cake consistency, the brioche, and it was grilled a little bit, and it had sea salt and pine nuts and marmalade. I mean, it was, and the foie gras, I'm sorry, San Francisco supervisors, but it was foie gras. But
We just talk about foie gras. I
right,
love it.
exactly. But it was unbelievable. That I would say overall the starters really fantastic.
And you need a glass of Sauterne, of course. They have a nice, well-chosen wine list
really
of French
great
and
wine list.
Yeah,
not
and
that-
California wines.
It's moderately priced, I think, but so far, every time we've been there, every choice has been remarkable, wine-wise.
I would say though, for the entrees, the one thing, and it's again the details, but this is kind of a big deal, I think, is someone ordered the classic bistro hanger steak, and someone else ordered a ribeye, and the hanger steak was supposed to be medium, and the ribeye was supposed to be medium rare, and they switched the cooking temperatures.
So did you send it back?
No, because in that type of a
Right.
group, if we send them back, they soldiered through.
Right.
And but if you send it back, then everyone else is kind of like
take a while.
vamping on their
And-
cooking
yeah.
while everyone else is
Right.
trying to catch
And
up.
what about service? Because again, this is a small space.
Oh, the
This
service is wonderful.
Great.
Stellar.
Absolutely professional and warm and really, really good.
And in terms of what you spent, did you feel like, because this is not an inexpensive place.
It's not.
No.
It's not. With wine, it gets high up there, but to me, every bite is worth it, because it's worth its weight in gold.
All right, Maroon, this is your spot, so give us a quick summary.
I think if you're looking for an enchanted dinner with French bistro fare, then look no further than L'Ardoise.
Fantastic. And John?
I think it's a really warm and inviting space. I'm just not sure the food would invite me back.
Okay. And Rhoda?
I pretty much feel the same way, although I think it's very charming and I might go back there because I love the tiger prawns.
All right, if you would like to try L'Ardoise Bistro, it's on Noe Street at Henry in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-437-2600. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $50. Another Season 5 guest is Lois Laurie. She's a shipping container sales director who loves Sonoma. Who doesn't? Especially her tucked-away spot just off the main square. Once inside the Iron Gate, it's easy to imagine that you're in a villa courtyard in Lucca, savoring traditional family recipes and local Italian cuisine. All the while, you're at Della Santina Trattoria.
My name is Quirico Salvatore Giovanni Della Santina. My grandfather is the originator of the Della Santina family food business in Lucca, and we had a bakery, a spaghetti factory, and a grocery store. I grew up actually in my grandmother's house, so I remember the taste of my grandmother with very simple food, but fresh and wholesome. Ravioli are the same recipe, the bread, we make fresh dessert because originally I'm a baker. We imported all the flavoring, the lemon, the rum, and from Italian, so they can get the same taste as Italian pastry shops.
Hi, my name is Rob Della Santina. We are enjoying our 20th year of business in beautiful Sonoma Valley. Our cooking here is traditional Tuscan country food. I like to call it Tuscan soul food. It is trattoria cooking. It is not a restaurant, so it tends to be more casual. We don't deviate too much. We try and stay authentic and traditional in the way we prepare our foods. If somebody put chicken in my pesto, my grandmother would definitely roll around in her grave.
The experience when you come here is to be transported and walk into the garden and be actually in Italy.
All right, Lois, as a fellow Sonoman, tell us about Della Santina's and why you go back regularly.
Well, I've been going to this restaurant probably at least 10, 15 years, even before I moved to Sonoma. But once I moved to Sonoma, it just was such a comfortable place to go. And Robert, the owner, he always greets me, and before you know it, he's always bringing a little something special over, something you didn't order, and it just makes the feeling of the hominess of the restaurant just great. And my favorite thing on the menu is the prawns doré, and they just melt in your mouth. And they also do the petrale doré in a beer batter, but the pasta can't be beat. And it's nice in the winter because there's an inside place, but in the summer, the patio is great, and they have little lights, and it's just a very endearing place to be.
And what did you eat when you went there, Ed?
I actually tried the, first of all, the antipasti plate, which I thought was terrific. You know, I'm so used to going to Italian restaurants where it feels or tastes very packaged, and this one was very fresh, so I really enjoyed that.
It's big, too.
It's huge.
So just beware, it's big.
And, yeah, you get so much with it. And then I tried as an entree the pappardelle with the duck ragu and thought that was really good. I would have preferred the pasta a bit more al dente, but, you know, that's what you get with homemade. Right. Sometimes it gets a little wet, but I thought the food was very satisfying. But I will tell you, what I really thought was outstanding was the service. I just feel like, to your point, it's just very homey. The waiters seem to know everybody's name. I kind of felt left out because I wasn't a regular.
Most of them have been with Robert for 10, 15 years. Yeah. It's a whole family.
And it's family, the Della Santinas.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So Robert, who actually, did you have wine when you went?
Because I did. Well, I actually had the Prosecco.
Oh, you had Prosecco.
Yes,
right.
and it was very tasty, and it actually went with everything that we had. The one thing that I did want to mention was, you know, as I went into the restaurant, I wasn't aware it was all in different sections, and you know, I noticed as I went to the restroom later on that there was a quieter section in the back, and we were seated definitely in a very small table in front, and I kind of felt like, okay, that's probably more the first class section, and maybe I was in the economy. I kind of felt like I was in a
Did
you feel that way too?
I felt like that too because I had the same experience. I was in the front and I went to the bathroom. That's the only way I saw the back. Yeah. And we were in it was almost a different vibe up in the front. So then when I went to the back, I saw this nice patio that would have been beautiful on a nicer day. It was raining that day, but it would have been beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
But I did feel like maybe I had chosen actually a wrong day to go there because it might have been a nicer experience to be outside and on a nicer warm day.
And when you went, what did you have to eat?
I had a spinach ravioli with mushroom sauce. And I thought it was okay, but I thought it was a little underwhelming just because I was in Sonoma.
Okay, the kiss of death.
It's okay. I mean, I was in Sonoma, so I was expecting this unparalleled dining experience, and there's so many great restaurants up there that just are so memorable, and it didn't quite live up to what
And what
my
about the
expectations
service?
were.
Because Ed was saying the service to him was something that was special.
I think that the service was really good. I felt that they were very attentive and they were very nice.
The thing about this restaurant that I like best is I always can get in. They're warm, they're friendly.
Right, that's true.
It might not be like, you know, 5-star quality, but
you get treated very well. And again,
That's
I think
true.
with being in wine country, there is a California wine list, you know, peppered certainly with Italian selections that are lovely. But they do a wine club. The Enoteca Della Santina.
Oh,
Robert
nice.
does an interesting wine club. So,
That's cool.
you know, there is a wine focus and a wine country focus to the place.
It's
All right, now desserts. Go,
Okay.
honey. You tell us about your desserts.
So I'm a chocolate lover, originally from Hershey, PA, so I love chocolate.
Yeah.
And I had a chocolate mousse cake, and I thought the chocolate mousse part was good, but then they drenched it in like an amaretto sauce with candied cherries, which made it taste very artificial to me.
I thought the tiramisu was actually quite good and definitely world class.
their specialty.
That's their specialty. But I will give them points for giving me a free glass of Muscat. Did you get that too?
I didn't get a free. What
Really?
they did for me was I was deciding between two desserts, two chocolate desserts, and I didn't know what to choose. And they actually gave me the second one to take home because I couldn't decide. I thought that was really, really nice.
They do that with everybody, and they didn't
That
know
was
who
nice.
you were.
They don't.
So
Yeah. So I
everybody
really
gets like a
appreciate-
little treat. It's
That was
amazing.
great. Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's more the ambiance. The back is wonderful, like for a Sunday brunch.
That would
I
be
bet.
nice.
To sit outside. And
Yeah.
All right, Lois, this is your restaurant, so give us a quick summary of Della Santina.
A little family gem in the wine country. I love it.
All right, Joanna?
I thought that the food was good, but I don't think I would drive an hour and a half to go to this restaurant again.
Okay, and Ed, your feelings.
Family style Italian, just make sure you ask for the upgrade.
If you would like to try Della Santina's Trattoria, it's on East Napa Street in Sonoma. The telephone number is 707-935-0576. It's open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $35. Entrepreneur Scott Roderick from Season 9 lives and breathes exotic dining destinations. With lofty expectations and high standards, he's up for exploring the cuisine of Piemonte and Liguria with a touch of France by way of Provence, especially when it's just around the corner in San Francisco. The spacious dining room, open kitchen, and passionate staff wows Scott as he heads to Perbacco.
At Perbacco, we celebrate the northwestern area of Italy. We cook with an Italian heart and we use local ingredients. I'm Stefan Terrier and I'm chef and owner here at Perbacco Restaurant in San Francisco.
In a restaurant, the experience is a package with food, ambiance, and service. Our job is to make sure that these three components are together, and we believe that at Perbacco we do a very good job. I'm Umberto Giubin, I'm a co-owner of the restaurant. Perbacco offers the cuisine of Piemonte. Therefore, our wine list, it is more focused on the Piemonte wines, Barolos, Barbarescos, Nebbiolos. Our wine director, Lorraine, she's really good at finding the small little gems.
We have quite a large kitchen staff here. A lot of the cooks have been with me for a very long time, and that's why everything comes together so well.
4 years ago, we had the opportunity of taking over the space next door, and we decided to open Perbacco, a more casual restaurant, a little less expensive, but yet with equally good food. We create memories for our guests. We show you the hospitality, and you're enjoying the food and the wine, and when you go out, the memory will stay with you.
right, Scott, let's talk about Perbacco. I mean, this is one of San Francisco's classics.
Perbacco, to me, is probably the finest Italian restaurant that you could find outside of Italy. It is an extraordinary place that I discovered several years ago. It is my top restaurant selection in San Francisco. You walk into the front doors and you see this beautiful grand European bar to the left and exposed brick and red leather banquettes. It really is a bustling financial district kind of place. But at nighttime, people from all over the Bay come in for this very, very special treat, which is based on Piemonte-style Northern Italian dining. I always order the Pappardelle Pasta, which is hand cut in the restaurant with short rib ragu with a little shred of horseradish over the top, and it is by far the finest pasta that I've ever had.
You're making me
in
hungry.
Italy or outside of Italy. I mean, they slow roast it, must
That's
be
right.
for days, and
Yeah.
it is absolutely, you know, melt on the mouth. The horseradish really kicks off the flavors of that dish, and I love that dish so much that even I may not be in a pasta mood, I'll order it between an appetizer and an entree as an intermezzo. Here with
That's
two or
my
three
kind of
people.
guy. That's an intermezzo. All right, Paolo.
I really enjoyed it. They had a variety on the menu that you don't come across too often, and I really liked the pork shoulder that they served. It had flavors, you know, that didn't compete with the pork shoulder itself. The cabbage that they put on there was just the right amount of sauce, and I had the pear salad there. And I had gone there for lunch also because I wanted to come back and see what the crowds were like for both lunch and dinner.
Roshan, you got to get in here and talk to
I
us
did
about
enjoy
this.
it. It was very conveniently located from the freeway. You know, we came from the East Bay, so parking was wonderful. The ambiance was really nice. We started off with the shrimp and fennel deep fried in a buttermilk batter. Very, very good. I loved it with olives and very hearty, very filling. And then we continued with the soup, a puree wild mushroom. Very, very good. My husband and I shared it. Then I got the scallops, nice and juicy, very good, seasoned to perfection. They were served with wild mushrooms and potatoes, small, but a very small portion. While the presentation was beautiful, there was only 3 scallops. So I hadn't eaten all day.
That was not an appetizer size.
That was
an entree
actually
size.
entree. At the end, I found myself having to fill up on bread, which was delicious. Some sweet breadsticks served with some type of sauce.
Yeah, the breadsticks are
with
known for
salsa
those.
verde.
Little tapenade.
Very
on the side.
good.
You needed a little salumi platter to begin with.
Maybe it was just my dish. The quail, my husband said it was delicious. It was served with wild mushrooms, seasoned to perfection. So we had no problem with the seasonings and the spices, and they're very, very flavorful. Had no problem with that, and he really enjoyed it.
Well, what I'm gratified to hear is that you love the flavors.
Oh, I
of the
did.
dish.
Oh, it was delicious. Oh,
And I think for me, in that environment, I think the meal is always filling, especially because I'm more of a small plate person. I like to share a lot of dishes. You mentioned the salume plate. I start off almost every lunch there with a salume mixte plate, which is a beautiful combination of things that they do in-house. They house cure their meats, their sausages, and that is really a wonderful way to amuse the mouth and amuse-bouche, if you will, before this Italian feast. I mean, it's a very extensive menu, and when you ask the servers at Perbacco about a specific dish, whether it's one of the meats on the salume platter or the style of cooking that Stefan in the kitchen does, they are very enthusiastic about getting you interested in things that you may not otherwise try. Their sommelier team is fantastic, and I never go in with a point of view on the wine I want to drink. I always ask one of the Italian sommeliers, who are incredibly well trained, to recommend to me something that's off the beaten path, hopefully Italian, but doesn't have to be.
The servers were very good, very professional,
They were.
but a little stiff. And I noticed there was a little bit of stuffiness, and I got my waiter to loosen up just by having a conversation with her.
We had a problem with the noise level. We could hear everyone's conversation, and there was a large party in front of us, and we couldn't hear our self-talk from the noise level.
And desserts? Nobody had desserts?
I did have their dessert.
Okay.
I had the
You look like a dessert guy. Come on,
I am
Paolo,
a
don't just
dessert guy. I wanted to put that one first. It was the hazelnut cake.
Oh.
Really good, very tasty. I wanted more sauce with it because the cake itself is a little bit dry, but it was fantastic.
Because of the show, I had to force myself to order desserts. So I had the fall turnover that the pastry chef made to perfection. It came with a beautiful raspberry jam and the burnt caramel gelato, which
And all their gelato is
all made in-house.
Made in-house,
and it came with a little Tahitian vanilla sea salt sprinkled lightly on the top, and with a beautiful biscotti on the side. It was an absolutely fantastic way to finish. Unfortunately, now I'm kind of addicted to now ordering dessert at Perbacco.
So you have to save room a little bit.
Exactly.
You got the menu choice now.
I do, and I'll have
All right,
to try
Scott,
that.
this is your spot. Wrap it up for us.
Well, Perbacco, classic Italian cuisine, fresh out of Milan. Best in San Francisco, maybe in the U.S.
All right, and Paolo.
Contemporary atmosphere, I enjoyed it, and the food was delicious, very flavorful, and I like service with a smile.
Okay, and Roshan?
I would definitely go back again, and I will definitely try the recommendations that you've told me about.
All right, if you would like to try Perbacco, it's on California at Battery in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-955-0663. It's open for lunch and dinner Monday through Friday, dinner only on Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $50. We hope you've enjoyed a look back at 3 great spots. Now don't forget to check them out. Thanks to Maroon Antoine Alsaya's charming old-school neighborhood French spot, L'Ardoise Bistro in San Francisco. And Lois Laurie's restaurant that continues the Tuscan family tradition at Della Santina Trattoria in Sonoma. And Scott Roderick, whose Northern Italian dining location meets all of his expectations at Perbacco in San Francisco. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers. So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you if you visited any of our Check Please restaurants. You can post a selfie on Instagram, join the conversation on Facebook, and tweet us anytime. And don't forget to visit our website. All the shows are there, along with my wine videos and notes about the wines we drink on set. You'll also find our fun new web series, Taste This, where we celebrate food and drinks around the Bay. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by IRGS in-trend surfaces, quieter marbles and rare exotics. Over 10,000 slabs in stock today. IRG in Brisbane and Dublin and at marblecompany.com.
Mattress systems from European Sleepworks, working to improve comfort and wellness for over 40 years. At Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley. Online at sleepworks.com.
Oakland International Airport. Now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Sutter Health CPMC, 7,000 employees, nurses, and physicians caring for their communities every day. Your city, your hospital. CPMC2020.org. La Tour Angèle Artisan Oils, French-inspired and handcrafted in Northern California. La Tour Angèle creates natural, healthy cooking oils that add new flavor to everyday dishes.
Support for KQED comes from Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 6 Bay Area locations.